All right. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Jeff Gardner, and thank you for joining me today for the inaugural episode of The Lost Bots, a brand new series dedicated to all the unsung heroes and cyber first responders out there working behind the scenes to keep us safe. Today, I'm speaking with Mr. Pete Rubio, Senior Vice President of the Platform Practice here at Rapid7. And I know he hates being called Mr., but I'm going to do it anyways. Mr. Alon Arvats, Chief Strategy Officer and co-founder at IntSights. And today, we're going to be talking on a segment we like to call the Royal We, tea time, where we spilled the tea on a given subject. So before we get into the actual segment, Pete, why don't you give our audience a quick minute overview about yourself, what you do, where you've been, what you're up to these days?
Sure. So I joined Rapid7 a little over 6 months ago. And so I lead the platform practice, as you alluded to. And our platform is the core of our offerings. And not only, let's say, the infrastructure that we run on and the intelligence that we actually glue together, but also the value that we bring across the products to the customer. That's my focus day in and day out, is trying to extract more value across our portfolio and bring that to the customer in context. And provide a set of tools that essentially cannot be matched in other parts of the industry. Before I came to Rapid7, I was at IBM, where I led the core of the IBM Cloud Platform. So lots of good experience building large-scale platforms, and really looking forward to taking the Rapid7 platform to the next level here.
Did you build Watson to beat all the chess players?
I did not build Watson. One of my colleagues did, but it is an incredible piece of technology.
I think you actually played Jeopardy too. I think I remember watching.
Did play Jeopardy. Yep, chess and Jeopardy.
I'm sorry, I keep calling you Mr. Arvats, but Arvats, over to you. What about you?
Great, thank you, Jeff. So I'm Alon. I'm one of the founders of IntSights and a Chief Strategy Officer. I founded IntSights 6 years ago with my co-founders with the mission to democratize external threat intelligence and make intelligence something that is accessible and relevant to organizations of any type or size. And in the last 6 years, I did product management roles. And today, like I said, I'm the Chief Strategy Officer, essentially leading the company strategy from product strategy up to go-to-market, and to make sure we bring all the value that we have to bring to our customers, to our entire customer base worldwide.
Awesome. Thank you both for that. So today we're going to be talking about threat intelligence, but perhaps not a type of threat intelligence you may be accustomed to hearing about. So typically when we think of threat intel, we think of IOCs or something actionable we can use to scour our internal environments looking for threats. What we're going to be talking about today is external threat intelligence. And by that, I mean things like domain monitoring, open source intelligence, social media, human intel, dark web, the real secret squirrel stuff, like knowing who the red bee is. And I'm going to pause and I'm going to see if there's anybody. Nope, nobody knows who the red bee is. So the red bee, 1940s were really weird for superheroes. It was a superhero who fought with trained bees. Actually had a favorite bee named Michael who lived in his belt buckle. So kick off the discussion. I'm going to kick it over to you, Pete, and ask, did what I say, that very brief definition of external threat intel, cover it, or are there other dimensions we should keep in mind?
I mean, I think it's a great starting point with respect to, the threat landscape, but every day things change. And I think one of the things that we are challenged with as security professionals and, developing our best of breed products is that the landscape changes every single day. Every day that we wake up, hackers get smarter. You can see that they're becoming more and more creative and elusive in the ways that they try to disrupt business every day. And so I think becoming proactive with respect to threat intelligence is a real key and a big differentiator for us. One thing is to have intelligence, but to have intelligence in that timely manner where you can actually, happen to it before it happens to you. And I think that's one of the things that is really important for us, and one of the reasons why our acquisition of IntSights is so key to us, because we're going to be able to take the intelligence that they bring and weave that into our platform and be able to provide that to our customers to give them the biggest and best ways to gather intelligence in the most timely manner possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think one of the keys you said there is the intelligence in a timely manner, because they're getting so fast, they're taking advantage of automation. They're kind of using the same tools and stuff that we've used over the years. and kind of turning the tables against us. And really, this can be a way to be proactive instead of just sitting on the back, always being on the defensive side. So Alon, now that we know the what of external threat intelligence, why is it important that an organization incorporate this into their arsenal?
Yeah, so I think that the why, or why you need external threat intelligence as part of your security program and strategy, is the same question as why any security or defense organization, not only cyber, needs intelligence. Every defense or security organization has enemies. He doesn't have enough resources to deal with all of his enemies, and he want to make sure that he's prepared when an attack will take place with all of his resources in the right places. So like every defense organization needs an intelligence organization next to him to tell him who is going to attack, when is he going to attack, and how is he going to attack. So same applies to security organizations all around the world. They need to know what is about to happen, prepare to self, and like Pete said, to make sure they also get it in a timely manner. And once you have this in place, you have the visibility, you don't work blindfolded, you're not reactive, waiting for someone to attack you and only then respond and hope that you respond fast enough before something really bad happens, and you start developing this proactive approach that would allow you to mitigate the threats a lot more efficient and even prevent the damage.
Nice. So got the what, the why, Alon, you nailed it. And now to what I consider the most important part, the how, basically putting it all together. So how do organizations start to operationalize this capability, and really where should they start? And since you already, speaking, Alon, I'm going to pass it over to you first.
So my recommendations to organizations is don't rush into choosing a tool or start looking for intelligence. Start with what you're looking for. So in the intelligence community, it is well known that when you start your external threat intelligence operations or program, first of all, you need to define your PIRs, prioritized intelligence requirements, meaning what do you want to know about? Do you want to know about credentials once they're leaked on the dark web? Do you want to know when your code of your R&D is being exposed publicly? Do you want to know when a phishing domain is being registered and about to be used against your employees or against your customers? What do you want to know about? What intelligence you want to get and how fast you want to get it? That is the first step. Only once you establish that, that is the time to look for the right tools, technologies that would meet your requirements. And you have to make sure that they meet your requirements. Otherwise, you will just have tools sitting on the shelves for no good use. So that is really the first two steps. My second recommendation, and that is also very critical, is to make sure you have a tool that allows you to efficiently mitigate the threats. One of the biggest risks of having an intelligence tools not in a proper way is that it will flood you with tons of data that you won't have a way to handle. And that is a very big risk. And that caused a lot of frustrations with many organizations that they have the budget, they go for it, but they don't get the value. And this is why my recommendation is when you look for the right tool, for the right technology, make sure that one, this technology helps you focus on the most important things that meet your PIRs and really limit to minimum the noise that you get. That is a big risk with intelligence solutions. And second, choose a solution that have embedded remediation within it. So a tool that would not only identify when there is a new fake mobile application out there, but would actually take it down for you. A tool that not only help you identify leaked credentials on the dark web, but actually help you validate if these credentials are still valid and even reset automatically the passwords. That would really allow you to operationalize the intelligence, to get the value you want from the intelligence, because in the end of the day, intelligence is not about expanding your knowledge, it's about learning and knowing about risks at the right time and mitigate them before you're being hit.
I love adding another acronym to our ever-growing arsenal of acronyms. Now I have PIR, which I'm never going to get out of my brain. Pete, same question. Over to you.
You can never have enough TLAs, three-letter acronyms, right? So, I mean, what Arvats just said was so important, and I think so well stated. One of the things that I think as business leaders we always have to do is the more proactive that we are in responding to security risks and things like that, it is actually the least expensive way to deal with it. So as Arvats was talking about takedowns, the pieces inside of IntSights, I think having that relevant context, that threat intel that you can trust, right? You know that what you're looking for is important to you and should be acted upon, and allowing you to immediately take action and over time automate, as you build better trust in the way that the tool is tuned for the intelligence and the threat vectors that you're looking at, I think is super important. And, I've never met a security team that felt like they were adequately staffed. And so I think that the intelligence and the being able to trust that tooling and make that essentially part of the arsenal that the security team has, and being able to remediate immediately versus actually having to, follow up or, have the opportunity for the ball to be dropped, I think is super important. I think the other thing that I would state too is every day, all of our customers, their enterprise risk levels change, right? And it changes because of that threat landscape that we were talking about earlier. The last, several months, there's been so many of these supply chain attacks that we've seen in the news, and there's, probably countless others that have not made the news, right? And so every day, things that felt safe, to enterprises and to development teams and to businesses are no longer, being deemed safe. And that's one of the differentiators that I think IntSights brings to the table is that we can scour places that just don't seem natural to be able to help our customers proactively, address these types of risks and threats to their business.
Very nice. So we normally like to end this with something we call the endpoint, where we wrap things up and put a nice pretty bow on it. I can't think of anything better to say than either of you have already said, so I'll try and wrap it up nicely. The landscapes are changing; they're changing rapidly every day. If you think internally, our environments are going crazy. The external world changes at an even quicker pace, and we always strive to move along that maturity spectrum out of the reactive and trying to get into the proactive, and not wait until the bad guys are knocking on our bank vault door. We want to see them walking down the street before they even get inside our buildings. So how do we start doing that? We start utilizing external threat intelligence. And a solution like IntSights would be perfect for something my buddy's actually going through in real life right now, where he's spending 5 to 6 hours of his day chasing down lookalike domains, chasing down people standing up websites, sending prospective employees, fake interview requests, all of this. This is an extra 5 to 6 hours out of his day, which he has to spend looking through all that noise that you were talking about, Alon, going through and trying to do the takedowns. It's not remediate, it's not automatic, it's all manual, and he's pulling his hair out, going absolutely crazy. And that's not a situation I want anybody to find themselves in at the end of the day, because we all got into this to help, protect others, and because we love doing what we do. And that's not the fun part of our day jobs. Like, the fun part of our day jobs is actually protecting people. So thank you, Pete, for coming on today. Thank you, Alon, as well. So, and thank you all out there for tuning in. And remember to Hulk smash that like, subscribe, upvote, or whatever other button you have in front of you that says you want to see more of this fantastic series. And we will see you next time. Thank you all very much.